Hi everyone, Leighton, we're back again, late live. You just got back from the National Stadium, it seems. Very great day for sport, except for Liverpool in the morning, but we won't talk about that.
Don't remind me, brother. Let me just find a slot now.
I was gonna text you about that, but I was like, I'm gonna leave that one. But
No,
we have
listen,
go ahead.
I
Yeah.
stopped watching after the start of the second half. I just stopped watch. I'm like, leave that alone.
Yeah. But it's been a fabulous day for athletics, starting at the World Indoor Championship. Some really great performances. World record by E Hammer. If we can
Yeah,
get a chance, we can
yeah.
touch on that. But we should start with the final event of the evening. Zeynep Dasso. I think you texted me while I was doing our live saying it's over. You thought there was no chance
Yeah.
for anybody else, and Dasso delivers, upgrades her silver medal from the last championship. Now a gold medalist, kind of true to form. And Sears just pipping Julian Alfred and the Jamaicans off the podium, but one of the closest races I've seen in a long time.
Well, the first 7 women were under 7-1. So it just tells you about the quality of the race.
Right.
Yeah, but let me address that first. I mean, when I saw Julian in the preliminary round, I was like, why doesn't she look as? I mean, she held her drive phase for a lot longer than normal. So I'm thinking, okay, she's shaking off some of the rust because she hasn't raced in a while. But when I saw her in the semis, barely holding off Brianna Liston and Jessica Sears, I'm like, that's when I texted you and I said, yeah, Dasso is my favorite now, because the reality is that Dasso, she looked completely at home in every single round. She was never pressed. She was like, yeah, this is me. We're good. And so I wasn't surprised. I wouldn't say disappointed with, I thought Julian would have probably finished second, but she got tight late and Sears finished strong. In fact, the first 5 ladies finished really strong because then Jonielle 706 coming off a PB of 703 in the semifinals. It was kind of hard to expect her to come back and repeat that.
Right.
And Sears, of course, Sears is used to running indoors. So she runs 703 or 704. She ran 704 in the semis.
Yeah.
Came back around 703. So everything fell into place the way it should in terms of what you were expecting, outside of the fact that you kind of expected Julian to be a little bit better. 701 maybe, and have Dasso on the line. I mean, Dasso having her on the line. I have a theory, and I hope this is not anything that comes to fruition. I have a belief that Julian might be feeling the pressure of the nation of St. Lucia, the expectation that she goes in since the Olympics, and since what happened last year with that injury in the 100, and of course not running the 200. I think she probably feels a little bit pressed in terms of what people are expecting of her fan base and her country, which we know she's really loyal to St. Lucia. I don't know if that's an issue, but she looked tight from the semis, and I wasn't comfortable. It made me very uneasy. Because remember, when she ran in Arkansas, that's those 699s, and
right.
We were thinking, world record and world record. But then she didn't race for a while. Comes back, and you would expect her to have been better based on what we saw the last time we saw her, but she didn't. But Dasso has been consistent all season. She's found her first 3 steps are ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then she gets her momentum going. And once she comes out of that drive, there's no catching her. The only thing that surprised me today again was the fact that she didn't break 7 seconds. But
right.
I mean, it's the tension of the final. I suppose that was part of the factor. But I was very pleased with the performances of the Jamaicans. I think Brianna Liston ran well. 705, 705. Jonielle 703, 706.
Yeah.
JCS is clearly getting back to her best. That 1077 athlete that we saw a few years ago before the injury. Yeah, so we're looking at. Listen, this was a quality field, Remember, Swoboda is no slouch.
Van der Verken was medalist the last time, and she also had 701 this season, I believe.
This year, And she ran, what was it? 70, what she ran? 70
in the semis?
No, in the finals. Van der Verken ran what?
7 I think she ran in the final. Yeah. Van der Verken.
Yeah, that was a quality final. I mean, the depth and the quality was extraordinary. And I think all the ladies from 1 to, I don't even know who finished it, but 1 to 8.
Van der Verken 8, Dina Asher-Smith 7, and Swoboda.
But
6.
But Dina was kind of disappointing for me in the sense that you run 703 are equal to PB, which means that you've been there before. You expected her to be in the thick of things in the final, but
no, that's a good point you made on Dina Asher-Smith there. And I think early on, I saw a post-race interview, and Dynamics was here early saying that she said she tweaked something or changed something from the semifinal to the final. And I'm like, I don't know what they tweaked, but it clearly didn't work, and she was explaining away on that, which I did watch her on an interview saying that too. Same for Amy Hunt. I'm not quite sure. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, Dina looked good. All of these women look good. It probably is the pressure of the final. I hope you're wrong on the pressure for St. Lucia. People are saying there's some pressure for Julian Alfred, but I hope she doesn't take the pressure that seriously, to be honest with you. But,
if that is the case, and as I said, I hope I'm wrong. This is just a theory that I have. If she should retire now, she's fine.
Right.
Olympic champion. She's the first to do it for St. Lucia. World championship bronze.
She has an Olympic silver medal over 200
Olympic silver medal over 200. She would have what many people would consider a successful career. So what I think, if that is the case with her, just compete now, because you'll have nothing else to prove. Right. You've won at the highest level, so you've been to the pinnacle, so nobody can say you've never done it.
Right.
So if that's the case, just let it go and just run, because we know what when she's running free, like we saw at NCAA 694, 22:01. She was running without no pressure because she knew that she had the ability to do it, and she knew how good she was. And maybe she's starting to doubt herself. I hope that's not the case.
Right.
But certainly, I have to be honest, I'm a little disappointed. I mean, not that she didn't win, but that she finished third as opposed to second. I mean, it's a small margin because it's 703 to 703. So, it's thousands of a second, but I would have liked to have seen her go down on the line with Dasso, and then Dasso gets the win deservedly in my mind. And then, she moved on to the outdoor season, but, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll definitely see from Julian. There's the often, it's, I guess, the proverbial assessment. When you get to the top, everybody goes after you. And last year in particular, she was injured, but also, let's give it to MJW too.
Melissa was.
No one would beat her last year, but
no.
Yeah.
Even my protestations last year that I was still going with Julian. The reality is that in hindsight, Melissa was just imperious last year. You couldn't, you don't have any credit for it.
But she's young enough. She has a really good coach, and I mean, she's the top person in the camp. There's no Asher-Smith there either anymore. Not that really impacted anything, I don't believe. But she'll be fine. I suspect she'll be fine. Yeah, it was a fabulous race. Shout out, as you said, to Brianna Liston, because I think she's coming on really nicely. And even Jonielle Smith in semifinal, she looked good. I thought, after I saw her in the semifinal, I was a little bit chuffed, saying, you know what, she's gonna fight and get on that podium. They all tried to do it, but it's just a tough night. The separation is marginal. Yeah.
Listen, man, when I saw her take the lead in that semi and still managed to hold the lead, and actually it looked like she was able to pull away a little bit at the end. Johnny is. Remember we said this when we talked about it I said, if she goes to the championships and not with a medal and comes away with a PB, that would be a success. And I think that's exactly what happened. So kudos to Johnny. Actually, I actually shed a tear. I have to be honest. I've shed a tear when she ran in this. My mother was sitting on the couch with me.
She's like, "What's going on, Leighton?"
Yeah, and I'm jumping up into the air, and I'm like, "God damn it, 703 cookie!" And my mom was like, "You know her?" I said, "Yeah, I know her very well." And I honestly shed a tear because this girl has been through the wars with injury, and for her to come back last year, we saw elements of what she was capable of last year, and so far this indoor season, well, not so far because the season's over now, but this indoor season, she's established herself as legitimately back, and I'm just keen to see her from once the outdoor season begins. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
No, I think it will be fabulous. If we had to, quickly, because I know we have to touch on a lot of things and obviously get up early tomorrow again. If we were to look at another very close race, we could go to the men's 60-meter hurdles. Another fantastic performance. Szymanski there outlining why he's one of the class acts. 740. Trey Cunningham PB in the semifinals. Couldn't replicate that, but separated by marginal stuff there. Yapis getting on the line. Prince also just barely missing out. Your thoughts on that race? And maybe just a quick question. Did Prince looking over to his left, or to his left when he was dipping, did that have an impact on the dip? If you stayed face first, maybe you would have passed Trey.
It might have, but because he was coming from behind, I can't really blame him for looking across to see where he was, because he was coming from behind and storming through the field. Yeah, but, Szymanski, we all know what he's capable of, but did we expect him to bring it on this occasion? I don't think many people would have said, okay, you're going to beat Trey Cunningham and Lapis, who has been running well. I remember we talked about Lapis earlier in the season, and he still set a national record and still come second. So, I mean, I think it was a quality final, and I think the performances were outstanding. I thought, Szymanski was clearly creme de la creme on the occasion. He didn't lose his composure, especially over the last two hurdles. He actually maintained his cool when the field it was crowded, over the last three hurdles especially, and he held his cool and held on and actually pulled away to win. Trey, I think, ran his best race in the semifinals because there was actually no pressure, but he felt the pressure in the final, and I think it cost him. I was very impressed with Demario Prince because Demario Prince, ever since he was in high school, he has proven to me that the hotter the fire is the sweeter he performs. And again today, listen, people will say he come fourth, and history will remember him coming fourth. But the difference was 0.009.
Right. Yeah.
It was 0.421 to 0.430. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So kudos. I think he's the next big thing for Jamaica sprint hurdling.
Yeah.
Hansel Parchment is, put it this way, he's on his last legs of his career. Right. So, and of course, Rashid Broadbell is hurt. We have Tyler Mason, who is 30 this year. We have
Orlando Bennett,
who is, that did well last World Championship last year. But Demario Prince is the next guy for me. He established. You saw him last year at the World Championships. Yeah. Comes back again and does well again. He's just a smidgen away from breaking through, and I think, based on what I saw today, he had the warrior spirit clearly. Yeah. But it was a quality race. I enjoyed that race a lot.
No, I did too. I felt bad for Dylan Beard. He had to medically withdraw from the final. That was tough for him because he looked okay. He didn't look at his best in these championships, but good enough, I thought. He's a fighter, as we all know. But Simonelli also going way down in 8. I just can't. I can't process him because as a talent, I think he's really top class, but it doesn't always come together.
Yeah. Sometimes for some people, it's the occasion where sometimes you may be thinking about the occasion too much, and it replaces your focus on what you should be focusing on in the race. Sometimes that happens. I don't know if that's the case with these guys, but This man was it was an extraordinary race. I really enjoyed that race today. It was really
Yeah, it was a hell of a final. It's one of the better
yeah,
things
man.
we've seen these last couple of days in terms of how close the athletes have been in these championships. Yeah, what can we say?
Yeah, man, for real.
Yeah, let's quickly touch on the women's 400 meters, then we can talk about the men. Manuel living up to expectation. Last year was a rough year for her. I think she was out most of the season with a hamstring
Yeah, she was
injury.
injured last year.
Yeah. And Bukovetska there on home soil, 50-83 national record for her as well. And Lika Klava, because sometimes we never know about Lika, but she finds a way.
She's lucky.
Yeah. A big surprise there to me is Jega hitting the railing. Yeah, stepped off. Yeah, that's the only surprise there to me. I thought she was capable of getting on a medal on the medal.
Remember, I said it to them. Remember, I said it when we spoke yesterday that I thought that Manuel and Jaeger were the top two.
Right.
And then now it was good between both Kazmarek and Klima for the battling out for the minor medals. But had Jaeger not stepped out, I thought she would have won the silver medal.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah, but Manuel did what I expected her to do. 50.76 tells me that she was, when you saw her from the first round, 50.96 that she ran in the first round.
I believe so. I have to check again. I think she ran,
Or either that or the semis, but she,
the comfort that which, in the semis, yeah, 59.6, yeah.
When you saw how comfortable she was in that race, you knew that she had a lot left in her. And it was a matter of her just delivering in the final, and that's exactly what she did. I didn't have much faith in Klava because I don't think she's managed to. I think whatever race plan that she had in the previous years, somehow she's abandoned it and it has not been working for her. She ran 51.03 today, was that? Time I'm trying to remember the time.
51.02 behind in the first final.
Yeah, and then so she got through because Jaeger stepped out.
Yeah.
So she would have probably ended up fourth. But that was another really good race as well. But what we're seeing is that some of the youngsters are emerging now. Talk about Lupton House, and how impressive he was. Yeah, Manuel is doing exactly that too. I think.
She'll do something special. She's only 20 right now. Thoughts on the two final structure. Obviously, we all know World Athletics changed it. A lot of people have been complaining they don't necessarily like this two final structure. But as we know, there is a disadvantage if you have the outer lanes. And so it kind of changes the spectacle somewhat because you got to sit in a bean chair or a bean bag rather to see if you have the better time. But I think on level of fairness, it probably works.
It works. Here's the thing. I look at this in two ways. 1 second. I'm going. Sorry. It gives more people an opportunity to win a medal when you have the two leg finals. The disadvantage I find is for the people who run the first final,
right?
Because the guys who are running the second final know exactly what time they need to run. And that gives them a distinct advantage, I think. You say, okay, somebody goes out, unless the person in the first final runs extraordinarily fast, then you know exactly, okay, so I have that time to beat. So you can actually pace yourself and frame it in your mind what you need to do to get on the podium. So I think from that perspective, I think it's unfair to those who run the first final.
Right.
But in terms of giving opportunity to move for more people to get into a final, so it's for me it's I don't know if it cancels out each other the issues that I have with it, but the fact that more people have an opportunity to win medals for me is a good thing.
Right. Yeah, I get it. And I think it's more of the fact that they've done the studies and they suggest that you're gonna be at a disadvantage. I mean, except that in the second final of the men's equivalent, we got all three medals there. Christopher Morales, Williams 44.76 in what was really impressive run from him, because McRae, I thought, went out, was laid down the gauntlet, said, catch me if you can, and he certainly caught him. And a guy that you have a lot of time for, we have a lot of time for, Jereem Richards, who, by every indication, had a less than impressive start to the championships, leaves with a medal around his neck, obviously losing his World Indoor Championship record to Morales Williams, but he gets a bronze medal, adds to his collection. Overall thoughts on the 400 meters there?
I thought it was good. I think both finals were good quality. I think Robinson went out too hard and he burned up in the end up with 45.5. I think that was never going to win.
Right.
Because you saw earlier on that McRae and Morales Williams were capable of running much faster than that.
Right.
What I was impressed with Jereem about is the fact that I think he finally had a strategy that worked in his favor. 45.39 was his best time. And two things. Another thing I thought about it is that it's because Jereem, I think, is planning to compete at the Commonwealth Games this year. I think his program was not necessarily designed for him to be running fast now.
Right.
So that he was able to come out with a medal suggests to me that, yes, this is part of the training program for him, as opposed to him going there with the intention of saying, winning gold. So that he comes up with a medal is an added bonus. And you saw how happy he was. It's an added bonus for him, because I think there are bigger fish to fry later on in the season, which he and Lance Brahman clearly are working on. So he's not where he needs to be now. I mean, if he was preparing for these championships as a specific goal, I think he would have been better. Because remember, Jereem has run 43 last 2 seasons. Huh?
Yeah. So
if he had prepared specifically for World Indoors, he probably would have run 44.7, 44.8. Instead of 46 and coming down to eventually to 45.39. So I think this is just a part of the process of him preparing for outdoors. So I think this is just a bonus for him. I'm going to call him maybe Monday. Well, I never know when I'm leaving, but I'll probably call him later in the week and find out what the whole thing was.
No, I mean, it's good. It's good for Trinidad. I'm sure my wife is happy, even though she doesn't even know about it. Before we continue, I just want to say thanks everyone for coming on to the live on. There's a couple people over on your live in the comment sections. I think Via KP716. She says she's very proud of Jamaicans. No medals today. There were medals today in the high jump, and we got to get to that in a second. Brian also saying the NCA did the same for the splits for the 400 meters. Yeah, we saw that earlier today, and lots of comments coming through. We may not be able to get to all of them, but we'll try our best, and because we want to finish the World Championship stuff and kind of touch on a few of the items that happened at this Velocity Fest meet that Leighton just got back from. There is an event, before we get to Mondo, let's quickly talk about a couple of field events.
Yeah.
I was extremely disappointed with the coverage that I got for the women's triple jump, because to me that was a fantastic performance. I was watching the series, and Perez Hernandez equaling the world lead 14.95. She starts out with a 14.8, then hits that 14.95. Yulimar Rojas kind of in and around. I think she fouled a little bit, but then eventually gets a big jump, 14.86. Couldn't necessarily challenge Perez Hernandez, but Sar from Senegal also getting on the podium, 14.70. When you look at the balance of those, the size of the jumps there, I thought that was really impressive. And when you look at the field, including Povea, including the likes of Tia Lafond, who didn't really get into her action, or Spanovic, so it was Jasmine Moore, top class women assembled. And I thought Yulimar coming into this championship after doing that 14.95, I felt that she was on course to probably go back to that level, or even 15 meters. Didn't quite happen for her today, but back on the podium, Perez Hernandez defending a champion, defending her title rather, outdoor champion. It looked good.
Yeah, and look, she's won now three titles in a row now.
Yeah, Hernandez. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so she's the big dog, but she's lucky today.
Yeah.
Because There was a jump, I think it was Yulimar's first jump, that was well over 15 meters.
Yeah.
If she had managed to get that rhythm in and hit the board properly, she wins this easily. Because even there was a middle jump as well, she was over 50 meters again, but it was another foul. Which is actually, when you think about it, it's something that has been happening to her even when she was dominating.
Yeah.
She has these lot of fouls because she's either reaching for the board or her whatever rhythm is happening there are not happening with her. Yeah, but she lucky, but I don't know how much longer that's going to last because Yolimar looks like she's ready to go 15 something again and regularly. So, it's going to be, I think Perez Hernandez is,
on bar
she
time.
she can't take them 3 trophy there and say, boy, you guys are really great. It was nice to have you. Because it's soon done. Because, no man, Yolimar is a beast. And I think it's rare. I mean, I was even telling my mom today, it's rare because my mom knows nothing about track and field.
Right.
It's rare when she loses. And coming back from Achilles surgery, the fact that she's able to do. Yeah, man, it's what she's been doing is fantastic. So it was good quality. And as you mentioned, my girl, remember her name again, who came third. She had consistent. Sar constantly. She was consistent over 1450, over 1460, I think, as well. So it was a really good quality competition, and I think, with the Olympic champion and the world indoor champion not in the frame, in TLF Fund, it just tells you how good it was. I mean, that was something that I'm a big purist, so for you guys watching, I love virtually every event in track and field. So it's something that I like watching. I like the rivalries, I like the competition. And the triple jump was yet another example of a really keen competition today with good quality jumping all around.
Yeah, I couldn't even say it better. I agree with everything you say there. Speaking of good quality competition, the men's pole vault, we've gone into a different setup now where we have multiple men joining the 6 meter club. Mondo Duplantis, again, championship record 625. Emmanuel Caroli 605 and Curtis Marshall 6 meters, equaling his personal best. When you look at that result in isolation, it just looks like a normal day, but it wasn't quite a normal day for Mondo. I think Caroli's, when he passed out of a couple jumps there, was trying to put Mondo under intense pressure, which in the end didn't work. But your overall assessment of the men's pole vault?
You remember the conversation we had a few weeks ago when I said I'd like for more guys to be able to force Mondo to do things that he's not comfortable with?
Yeah.
Today, I saw evidence that Carolis had Mondo worried, and Mondo had to pull out his best cards to win this. The strategy of raising the bar to where Carolis had never been before.
Right.
Put him in an uncomfortable position. But look at it now. That when they attempted that 620, he just missed it.
Yeah. He barely, he just touched it with right at the chest area.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, and when you looked at, when they cut to Mondo's face, you saw that worry. I've never seen him worry before. So that's what I want to see with the pole vault. More guys get into that 610, 615 area where Mondo knows he has to jump. He can't just sit back and say, okay, you guys, do your thing. And he comes in at like 610 and win the thing and then collect whatever. But no, he has to work because Carlos is showing that he's capable. He might have failed at 620 today and 625. But the way in which he failed suggests that in the very near future, those marks are not going to be a problem for him anymore.
Right.
Because even when he cleared 610 today, you saw the gap between him and the bar when he cleared. So he knows he has it in him. And that's what I want to see more of. I want to see him and Mondo battle. And maybe one or two other guys can come in and put pressure on Mondo with the earlier heights, like from that 590 up, and say, yeah, you got to work here. You'll make $1.5 million setting world records easily. You need to work for some money now. Right. So Carlos is doing it, and I hope a few other guys come in and will and start to do some stuff that will make Mondo work. Because that's what we want to see. We want to see the rivalries. We want to see competition. I mean, that you remember when Usain Bolt was dominating, there was a period of time when Tyson Gay was challenging him, when Justin Gatlin was challenging him. That's what Johan Blake was challenging him. It made it a lot more exciting. Yeah. It made it a lot more exciting. That's what I want to see in the pole vault. And I think it's beginning to happen now, which is pretty cool.
It went there, and I think in terms of the medals went true to form, except for I guess Guttersson, if I can never pronounce his name, the Norwegian guy, because he cleared 606 this season and failed at 595. But to see three men at 6 meters and above, I think we're getting in the right space. Perhaps next year at the World Championships in China and getting into the Olympic Games, you never know, right? And if Carolis actually gets to 620, which I think he's definitely capable of getting to, it will force Mondo to really reflect. And pressure is not something I think he has experienced.
He's used to.
In his, he doesn't know what it means to, he knows what it means to have everything working well for him. I think Mondo has only ever lost once, I believe, since his senior career. So
I cannot remember one time he lost. I can't remember one loss. That's it. So yeah, man. But I thought that was good. It was intriguing today to watch him sweat a little. I messaged you. I said Mondo is sweating a little bit. So, I like that. So that was pretty cool as well.
Cool.
Go ahead. No, man.
No, I was going to transition quickly because I know when we started, we would take forever. The men's, the only world record of this championship came from E. Hammer, the Swiss athlete, breaking Ashton Eaton's heptathlon record. And I didn't believe he was going to do it. Obviously, he was on course. He needed 2:43 and better in the 1,000 meters. And the guy ran, no, I'm forgetting. I think it was like 2:41 or something like that. And 6:670 to utterly destroy the indoor record, championship performance, world record ahead of Heat, Baldwin, and Garland. I don't know. I know a lot of people don't spend time thinking through this, but the guy hurdled at 650, I believe. I have to find the numbers again. I think 652 when he was hurdling. That could get him in. That would have gotten him a position in the final of the 60 meters today. It probably last, but that shows the kind of level he is. I think he did well in the pole vault as well. It's a big performance.
Yeah, man, big. I mean, and the hurdles was what I think got him over the record as well.
Right.
So I mean, I maybe see him. I know he's a great long jumper. He's won individual titles there as well. So he's quality all around. I mean, when you watched him perform over the last couple of days, what you saw was, I like to go back a long time to people like Elaine Thompson from England, who was a great decathlete and stuff like that. And even Bruce Jenner, who is now Caitlyn Jenner. I mean, I grew up watching Bruce Jenner win at the 76 Olympic Games.
Right.
E. Hammer has that kind of vibe about him in terms of a multi-event guy, where he's good at not just one or two events, he's good at many events. And today was the way in which he broke the record is evidence of just how good he is. So it's he was a pleasure to watch. And watching him hurdle at elite level hurdling, not just multi-sport hurdling, is something special to behold, actually.
No, really good. And before we end the evening, there's a couple distance running events there. Josh Kerr holding off Cole Hocker. Obviously, they have a little rivalry going on. 7:35.56, Hocker 7:35.70, and the Frenchman Jan Schroub 7:35.71. A brilliant performance. I mean, I thought when I saw Cole Hocker coming wide, I was like, does he have enough to catch him? And he didn't quite have enough there, but that was a splendid race. It includes the likes of Yard Nagus, who hasn't been running really well the last couple of seasons, but it was a quality field that Josh Kerr, popped up and delivered on a medal. And again, I guess the real question, the side story on this is we are now at another major championship, and the African guys are off the podium. And that is
That's what
we haven't seen that in a long time. It's starting to happen more frequently.
A lot of them are battling anti-doping violations. Yeah, but I actually thought Carr was going to be caught. When he went, I thought he went a little early because he had started to fade last 60, 70 meters.
Yeah.
And Carr made his move. I mean, made his move. And but he held on well. And but that was another intriguing. I only caught the last part of that race because I was working on some other stuff. But that was watching that last 150 meters of that race was fantastic. And yes, it was really great. But what I was disappointed with in the women's race, disappointed in not necessarily who won, but the fact that Hailu,
free winning Hailu,
she was. I don't want to say robbed because I don't think it was deliberate, because Garcia was eventually disqualified for pushing to her.
Jessica Hull, who then pushed back.
Jessica. But the fact that she got up and managed to get, you could see that the fall took a lot out of her. The impact alone would have probably winded her for a while. And she came back and finished sixth. To me, watch whatever, 9:11, something like that.
9:02:41.
That to me, that was crazy good. And I think, for a two-time champion to bow out this way, I don't think it was fair. But sport is not fair sometimes. But
it's very unkind, and you can't rerun the race either. So it's unkind. When I saw that, and I was actually more impressed, and I think if they had to give out an award for performance of the day, that would have to be it, because she could have easily just crawled off the track and not continue, because there's just no way. I mean, we've seen athletes in the past fall and eventually find their way back in races, Sifan Hassan or so, but this was an interesting one. But for Bakalkleti to win it 8:57.64, Emily Mackay there with a burst of pace to overtake Jessica Hull. It was a really impressive race, and Bakalkleti also coming off a Ramadan, so she hadn't been really possibly training the way she probably wanted to, but finds her way, finally winning a major title after lots of global titles now. Well, a few global titles in silver medal positions and bronze medals, but to win a major championship here must be big. But I think the storyline is the fall of Hailu.
And Hailu, for me, I have, based on what she did, I have no doubt had she not fallen, she would have won.
Right. I think so too, because I think she came into this championship favorites for sure. She was certainly my favorite, and it didn't quite happen. One of those things. I think we've touched on a few things. I don't know. Let's quickly talk about the morning session. We spent so much time and not talking about the disqualification of the Jamaicans in the 4x4. Are you happy with it? In the end, I saw. Initially, I thought it was for the clip, but it wasn't for that. It was for the exchange. Your thoughts on that?
I was watching the video because they claim that she took the stick ahead of the line. There's a line there where they're waiting the incoming runners, and I watched it like, I don't know, 50 times, I swear, to see whether or not she was more over the line than anybody else. And I watched it. Each time I watched it, I looked at each one of the other athletes from the other teams. And she was over the line more than anybody else.
All right.
But there were others that were over the line, but not as much as she was. Like, I think the Dutch team that was on her outside their runner had 1 foot over the line, and there was somebody on the inside. It may have been the Belgian team that had 1 foot over the line, but she was well over the line when she took the stick. And but so initially when I looked at it, I was like, that's not right. And there are people who were thinking.
There's also Kennedy pushing the baton across the and the USA guy actually pushing it away. But
the thing about it is that positioning is right, because the marshals that set them up in those lanes, right? So she didn't leave her lane because Jamaica was currently third or fourth, or third, and she was in lane 3. So it was
at the top of the bend,
yeah. So she the thing is that she virtually almost had 2 feet over the line. So she took the stick and turned and went.
Yeah. It's a kind of tough lesson. I think it's really messy to run these 4x4s indoors, and even more so when you have to do mixed 4x4. I think it's just kind of a nonsense situation. But
it's dramatic, though.
Yeah, say that again.
It's dramatic.
It is dramatic. Yeah. Belgium finally getting a big championship win, and I think one of those guys there was returning from cancer treatment. So I think that if there's some storyline, a human interest angle there. An event that we have been critical of for a while, but I guess Jamaica has found favor in it, is the men's high jump. Critical only in the context that we haven't seen the big jumps in recent times. I know Barshim is gone, and you want to see people approaching the 2 meters 40. It didn't quite happen, but it was a lovely final in the end. Your thoughts on the men's high jump final? It's like, I guess it's a Ukrainian thing. The day before Yaroslava wins, today Dorashuk goes equal his season best 2:30. The Mexican guy getting 2:32 but losing on countback, and Jereem Richards and Wu from South Korea sharing the bronze medal. Yeah.
There's not much to talk about. I mean, it was keenly contested. The quality of the jumping wasn't great. 2 meters 26 was everybody bowed out.
Right.
Yeah. So Jereem Richards, kudos to him, following up bronze last year with another bronze medal. So yeah, he's you can only beat who they put in front of you. So yeah, 226. Right. But seriously, 226.
That should be warm up jumps.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when guys used to warm up at 226.
Yeah.
Bondarenko them used to start jumping to the 230. So the quality of the high jump in the last few years has been, But when you win, you win. I mean, if you're the best of I don't want to sound overly critical, but these guys are to me the best of a bad lot right now. Until somebody gets to 238 and 240. Right. That to me is like, because 226 is like, it almost feels like you're watching champs. Yeah. When you're on 226.
No, it is. It's. I don't know how to put a finger on it. I know sometimes standards are cyclical, but when you look at some of these athletes, they're definitely capable of going better. So I'm not sure what's happening there. I don't think we'll see anybody close to the world record. A couple of years ago,
not anytime soon.
Yeah, we thought the world record was under danger when Barshim was in his prime.
And Bondarenko, remember them both on 240. Yeah,
exactly. But Javier Sotomayor is still living large on that world record from many years ago.
Remember, on the last live, somebody asked me who was coaching Lamar Distin.
Okay.
So I asked her. Mm-hmm. And his name is Yannick Tregaro. He's coached a couple of world champions.
Okay.
European champions as well. So that's who our coaches. In fact, I had messaged her the same night when the question was asked, but because it was late in Poland, she didn't respond until
this morning. Mm-hmm.
At 4:12 a.m. my time.
Right. Well, at least you're getting the answers. Yeah. So I don't know who asked that question, but hopefully they'll watch it on the live or on the rebroadcast if they're not here. All right, there's lots more to touch on that, but we can transition away from, maybe before we transition away, what is Cooper Luckton house on Leighton? I just don't know what to say. The lad at 17 just making 144 look easy.
The man jogged 144 today.
Yeah, literally.
Listen, man, I'm watching this kid and I'm like, he don't have no lungs. Remember a couple of weeks ago, a few weeks ago, we were talking about the possibility of who would possibly break the world record. And we're saying maybe one Yoni is the guy to do it.
Yeah.
This kid could be the guy.
He could be, yeah.
And he's a 44, 400-meter man.
Yeah. He's not normal at all. Yeah.
No, he's ridiculous, man. I mean, I watch him run and my jaw's on the floor because the ease at which he ran, what was 144.2 he ran?
Yeah, 144.29. And Mohammed Atawi, who gives us, well, you no longer run the hair on top, but he basically caused me to pull my hair. It's like 144.48. Don't understand his race strategy when he's a high quality athlete, Yeah,
it's crazy. But look, man, this kid, I'm hoping that he's not one of these one hit or one era wonders where he's great as a junior and then fades out in a couple of years' time. Because if he can continue on the current trajectory, he ran 142 last year.
Yeah, 142. Yeah, and he made it to the US, made it to the World Championship at 16, which was it was an unbelievable experience. And this year he's back running really well. Yeah,
he's extraordinarily talented, and I'm just keen to see what he does next because it's not often that somebody comes along that makes you, go as them say, because this kid is. He's special. I mean, there's no two ways about it. He's definitely special.
And the Americans are stuck with the 800 meters. You think about Josh Howe, already broke the world indoor record this year too. You got Bryce Hoppel. I'm not sure what's going on with him, but and then obviously Donovan Brazier came back last year, so it's in a healthy space. And overall, when you think about the landscape at 800 meters, as you said, Wanyoni and Atawi and Habaz and all these guys, the big Canadian there as well. Yeah. I think we'll see the world record sooner than later, I think. And as we've already said, when we saw that in 2012, I didn't believe in my lifetime this quickly we would see someone come around to start challenging the David Rudisha record. And it
I remember Wanyoni is still very young too.
Yeah, he's 21, 22, something like that.
22, yeah. So it's incredible to see what's happening with these guys with 800. Looking forward to see what the outdoor season brings, because if Lupton House can continue to do these things outdoors, I will pay money to go watch him run against anybody.
Yeah,
he's crazy.
He's very good. And semifinals for the final is set for the 800 meters. I think he's outstanding. I guess Atawish could make it on the podium. I don't know if Elliot Creston will. But Peter Boyle, I don't know if he'll run quick. He didn't run particularly fast in his semifinal, but probably didn't need to run fast. So we'll see what we get.
Probably saving for the final, because then probably looking at Lupton House and say, "Yo, you tell me can't take the trick."
No chance there. On the women's side, Keely Hutchinson looked really smooth, 158.53. Addie Wiley from the United States also running a personal best to ensure that she got into that
Vera
final.
Looked really good too.
Yeah, Vera
looked really good,
I think the medals come there. Yeah, I think I'm guessing it's Hutchinson, probably Vera, Getachew, but you never know. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's the top three for me, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm only sorry Dugama isn't there.
Yeah, which as you pointed out, and everybody should be aware, it's a passport issue, which I still don't know what they're doing. Actually, she's actually a big time athlete too. So, I would suspect she had a Schengen visa before, but that's a different story.
Yep.
All right, Leighton, you went to a track meet today. I don't know how you're doing it, watching track all day, going to a track meet, and there were some performances that the world is looking at right now. I see trending on social media. We saw Shericka Jackson running a 400 meters, Karika Hill, you name it. But I think the one that is reverberating around the world is that performance from Elaine Thompson here over 200 meters. You were right there. Thoughts on that? And I know you said before you came on, there are people not saying it's not particularly fast, but that those people probably don't really understand track and field that much.
Clearly they don't. This is March 21st. When she ran the 22:61 this evening, literally bouncing the last 60-65 meters easy. running the curve conservatively. In her first 200 in about 3 years. And I see these people saying, oh, if it was 21:61, they'd be impressed. I'm like, you realize this is March?
Yeah.
This is March. The last, when Elaine ran 21:5 in Tokyo in 2021, in April that year, she ran 22:44. Okay?
Right.
April. Now, consider this, that she didn't run the curve really hard today, and she bounced home. She could have run 22:4 tonight.
Yeah.
Right? So, for those who don't understand what we're in March, this is not June, this is not peak season, this is not Diamond League season, this is March. This is World Indoors still.
Yeah.
This is indoor time still. So, for the most part, most athletes at this time of the year are just getting into spikes. Right? Elaine has run a couple of 60s. This is her first 200 in like 3 years. If you're not impressed with 22:6 in the way she ran it this evening, you don't understand track and field at all.
Right.
You know, who I was very impressed with as well is Shericka Hill.
Oh, Shericka Hill too, yeah.
22:80, 100-meter hurdles.
Yeah.
22:80. I don't remember ever seen her run a 200 in recent times. And she looks really strong. You know, Clayton, the twins look sluggish, but I think they're probably on a different program.
Right.
Because I think Fran is probably, and it's one of the reasons why I think that 52:05 from Shericka this evening doesn't really say much in terms of anything, actually. Because what I think is happening, because she's been hurt for the past 2 years and have not competed as frequently as she normally would, I think they're probably building back her base. So she ran a 4x1 at Gibson Relays, I think it was. Was it Gibson Relays? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it was Gibson Relays, yeah.
Yeah.
A couple weeks ago, yeah.
And now she's running 400s.
Right.
52 tells you that whatever muscle memory was there for the 400, for the 49.5, 49.4, whatever she ran before, is no longer there.
The form looks good though. I mean, I'll have to admit, she still knows how to make it look like the brick wall wasn't there, but yeah.
Yeah, man, the form looks good, but the beer was on her back big time. And to see her stoop down after that race, and like her body was probably screaming bloody murder. But I think Fran is building back her base now.
Right.
So I don't think, based on what I see, I know it's March, I don't think they'll probably put her in many big races this year. Probably run a few low-key meets and run some 200, some 400 to get that base back to what it was in 2023 and 2022. And it probably will take her the season, because then, remember, Shericka missed virtually all of 2024. And she missed a big chunk of 2025. And she was hurt at the World Championships. Yeah. So I think they're being cautious, rightfully so too, being cautious with her and easing her into getting her body back into the kind of condition where she can run these times and maintain that speed and run fast consistently without being hurt. Because when you're hurt, especially when you're this far into your career,
right,
where your body is already beginning to feel the wear and tear of the high level performances. Because remember now, between 2022 and 2023, Shericka ran 21-4 how many times? About 4 different times.
Yeah, I mean, it's the greatest kind of period in the history of the 200 meters in terms of the dominance of the running. Nobody has ever done that.
Never done that.
Yeah.
You know, so her body obviously was born in bloody murder, and it started to break down. So they're probably just easing her back into that level now, and maybe just having her focused on one event instead of two. You know, so because now we have quality in 100. Not necessarily her quality yet, because we haven't seen any of the Clintons run 10.6 yet.
Yeah.
But they're in 10.7 shape, basically. We have people like what's her name? Sabrina Dockery coming through. We just saw her run 11.14 last week. We have Shania Douglas. We have a few. I mean, Shanice Walker.
Shanice Walker, yeah.
Okay, yeah, a few young sprinters coming up. So I don't think Shericka needs to run any more hundreds for the, I mean, especially now. Maybe just focus on one event and maybe building this year and really making one last shot at the 200 meter world record next year in Beijing or LA 2020. Well, I'm told that Shericka not going to LA 2028. So, but maybe so next year
is the swung,
you know,
the final
is final round. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, the source I heard from is not necessarily an overly reliable source, but the argument was that she wasn't planning to go to LA in 2028. So, but maybe they're building her to make one last crack at the 200 meter world record and then just hang it up from there. So, because I mean, she's had tremendous success. She's won a medal in the 1, 2, and 4 at the World Championships. Nobody's ever done that before. She's the second best combined sprinter in the world behind Marita Koch. You know, 10:65, 21:41, and 49, and 49:45. I think it was her. Well, I don't remember the 400 time she ran. You know, that collectively makes her one of the greats of all time. So she can make one last swing at it and see where it takes her. If she does it, she has a world record that makes her, that adds up, puts a feather in her cap. If she doesn't, I don't think anybody can deny her legacy as one of Jamaica's greatest women sprinters.
I mean, she's one of the all-time greats. She'll what, 32 this year. You know, next year is 33 by the time you get to a world championship. At the end of the year. You know, 34 in LA. I don't know if she wants to do that, right? You know, that's an interesting.
And the key thing about it is that with Melissa Jefferson, who she is,
right?
Julian Alfred, Mackenzie Long, possibly Brianna Liston, you know, who looked really good so far this year. Gabby Thomas, does she want to go into those battles again at the end of, you know, when her body is not necessarily firing at 100%? Maybe not. So, you know, so the reality is that I think this is since this is an off year, basically, you know, take the time and build back to where she was coming from and see how close to her
best she can get back.
The best she can get back. Yeah.
I know. I agree. I mean, there's nothing for her to prove really. And obviously, she will always want the Olympic gold medal, but you know, it's tough. I mean, I think Noah Laz is the same, right? He may end his career as one of probably the second best 200 meter runner we've ever seen and not have an Olympic medal and that gold medal rather, and that's kind of an interesting thing.
Yeah, but look, Shericka's best chance at winning the Olympic medal, the Olympic 200 meter gold was in 2021. When she sleepwalked through the preliminary round, and then get, because that was her opportunity, and sometimes it happens. I mean, there have been great athletes who have never won Olympic gold, because
that's
of
true.
Circumstance, so
injury and other types of things. It happens, I don't know if she was going to beat Elaine that night, but it would have been a fabulous race, you know.
Look, but she wasn't. What I do know is that she was in shape. She was in a lot of shape. Tina looked good tonight. I mean, she looked. She did well, but I think she looked sluggish. But that may be because her legs are still heavily loaded. That's how front works. Well, most coaches work that time. You know, you load up your athletes, you have them compete under load. So when you lighten the load, they're actually flying. So but I was very impressed with Shericka Hill.
Hill, looked really good.
She destroyed that field. 22.8 is a really good time.
And quickly on the one thing in the men's 200 that it's not particularly a great time, but the thing that caused concern was Christopher Taylor not finishing. I don't know if there's any update on that. If you know,
I haven't heard anything
to him. That
I've heard him, but the fact that he backed off first and then slowed down, maybe he felt something. I didn't want to risk it. So I'd probably reach out to somebody. I'm not sure if tomorrow is going to be a good day to do that, but I'd probably reach out to somebody and find out if Kirby is all right, because
Go ahead.
He looked pretty decent. I mean, Orlando Bennett actually looked good in 100 as well. 10,
Oh,
10
yeah,
40
that is
something.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looked good. I think Asini Wilson 48-29 was very good. That was very good.
Oh, yeah. This early in the season and coming off, remember that he's coming off, if I remember correctly, he did surgery last year for a condition that he had. I'm trying to remember what it was. He told me about it in an interview.
Yeah.
I don't remember exactly what he said it was. But coming back and running 48-2, good time.
It was good. Rashawn Clark too, as you've
20.41.
Yeah, he's working on speed this season. Yeah.
Clearly working on speed, and it seems to be paying off. 650s in the 60. 2041 is a big personal best for him as well, which it means that his speed is look, 2041. I know we've been spoiled by Bolt and Tyson Gay and Noah Lyles and all these guys over the last few years. But 2041 is a pretty good time for 200 meters, regardless of the year. And remember, Rashawn Clark is still only 21, I think.
Right.
So I'm sure that if he runs a couple more 200 this year, he probably get down to even 20.0 or something. So
which would really put him in an interesting space, because the only way you're gonna catch up on these guys in the 400-meter hurdles is to get quicker. You have to get as quick as quick as Rai Benjamin. I think he could be quicker than Rai Benjamin if he works at it. But I don't want to. I'm not saying he's gonna be in Rai's status, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, but remember Rai's a 19-second 200-meter guy now.
Yeah.
So if Rashawn can get his time down to 20 flat or 19.9, I think he could be a consistent 47 low 400-meter hurdler.
Yeah.
And because this is a year where you can take the time to build towards the major championship years coming next year, and the Olympics going to be what, 23, 24?
Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It gets fast over the next 2 seasons. He could be right there in the mix, because Carson not getting any younger.
Yeah.
Rai, how old is Rai now? Rai's what, 25 or 26?
I think he's the second youngest of the big three, right? Because I believe Dos Santos is the youngest, right? I'll check in a second. Yeah.
Yeah, Dos Santos is like a baby still,
Yeah.
But
Benjamin is 28. Yeah, right. Yeah.
So Russia and them could come in and ready to take them on at 24. And Asini, now that he seems to be healthy, could be
It looks like a scary run. I don't know why. You're popping up on March 21 running 48-2.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he's not in any kind of. They're not doing anything to make him quick yet. I mean, this is 47 should be in the card soon. Yeah.
I saw Malik James King was in that race too. I think he ran 49.15. Yeah, but I think Malik has had some injury concerns as well.
Yeah.
So I'm going to reach out to him and find out where he's at and find out. But I think 48.2 is a good time regardless. 48.2 is a good time regardless. Yeah.
Back if we went back 15, 20 years ago, you'd be like, that could be doing some good stuff, but
clear close to the podium.
Exactly. Yeah. Nowadays, it's a different. Quick thoughts on Levania Williams too. She looked good in the opening round of the 100.
What was it? 11? Was it 11-2?
18 and then 11-2 coming back. She's an interesting one. I don't know where her ceiling is. Is it kind of a breakout year for her, you believe?
It's her first 100, I think it is, for the season.
Yeah.
She looked good over 60. Some work to be done. I mean, I looked at her race and she still looked a little tight in the last 30 meters. So, maybe she can extend that stride a little bit instead of running on the spot.
Right.
But clearly there's potential there. And I think as the season progresses, I wouldn't be surprised if she goes 11-0 or sub-11. Like a 10-9 or something like that. Because clearly, I know the people who are working with her, and they're very, 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 very encouraged by her performances.
Okay.
They think very highly of her. It's for her now to deliver, So, I mean, I don't think you can. I don't think anybody would be unhappy with what they saw from her tonight.
Right.
Because if she's opening with these times, it suggests that much faster times are in the offing by summer.
Right.
Maybe they want to probably get her sent to the Commonwealth Games and see how she.
Yeah, that might be a good space. Or if you run a couple of good times, you can get on the circuit Continental Tour.
Yeah.
If you run a really good time, you can probably get into the Diamond League for sure. Rashid Foster too, running 10:10. It's a 1.8 win, but interesting run there from him. I don't know how much to make of him. Where did he go to school? Did he go to Michael? I can't remember exactly.
I don't remember. I saw him today, I was like trying to scratch my hands in it. Objectivity, we just talked about Russia. Take on Clark. His coach did say that they're going to focus on improving his speed this year. Yeah. So 60s, 200s. One of the things that he needs to work on is his hurdling technique. Yeah. But I think they believe it's, and rightfully so too. I think they think it's more critical for him to get faster, because he needs to be able to stay with the Farhomes and the Rise and the Dos Santoses, and these guys are fast. So if he's going to be challenging them, he needs to get faster. So the focus this year, according to what Akil Stewart said, is working on the speed. So it's
going to be tough. And what's his name? The Qatari guy's back to Samba, so it's a tough space. Over on your channel here, I think Andre Willis is saying, guys, what do we think about Akeem, and should we address the elephant in the room now? I don't know what that means in terms of the elephant in the room now.
Akeem said he had a back injury shortly before the World Championship.
Yeah, he did. He did put that out on social media. So other than that, I don't know what else to say. We've discussed Akeem in the context of what he needs to do to improve the last 20, 30 meters of the 100 meters. And he started the
season well.
Yeah.
You remember he started the season well, look, he didn't look bad in the first round. The 6:59, it wasn't perfect, but he didn't get a great start. In the semifinal, he got an even worse start.
Right.
And ran 6:55 and didn't make it. So he is look, sometimes the pathway to where he wants to get is not straight.
Right.
Sometimes it can be circuitous, and maybe that's the path that he's taking. Maybe it's a focus issue as well. I don't know.
Yeah.
But what I do know is that his camp is very encouraged by him and what they think he's capable of. So let's see. Let's see what happens when he gets outdoors. Yeah.
The one thing we have to say, the landscape in Jamaican sprinting, as everybody knows, has changed. There are some guys looking in front of you that Oblique Seville, Elaine Thompson, Brian Lavelle. There's standards there, and you have to really and truly decide what you're gonna do with yourself if you want to be a part of these major teams. We'll take a couple more, then we gotta go because Leighton we gotta get up early in the morning. Both of us.
Yeah, one thing I'm told that Kobe is good.
Okay, it's fine. Yeah. So it was more like hopefully it was just like a cramp.
Maybe he felt that change on us.
And stop. Well, makes sense. Nikki Sue on your channel is asking, how concerned should we be about Chris and Serena? Well, Chris, you just answered the question there. I guess if you're talking about Christopher Taylor, and is it? I don't know. Are you talking about Serena Cole? I don't know.
Serena Cole, yeah. She pulled up injured in the 200 this evening.
Yeah.
I have no information about her health, how bad, whatever it is that caused her to stop. She looked like she was grabbing the hamstring.
Right.
So maybe she had a tweak or maybe a minor tear. We don't know. I'll find out that eventually during the course of the week.
Yeah. Couple more we gotta go. Is Brian Level all right? I mean, we don't. Did we get? We
don't know yet.
On Brian Level, no.
No, not yet. It looked like he rolled his ankle to me. That's my take on it. Until I'm told otherwise, that's what it looked to me. Why do you guys think Oblique didn't run today? I don't know. I'll talk to his agent and find out later on. But I know that there is a plan for him to run Diamond League this year. Just which ones they haven't decided yet. I think they're still in the negotiating phase of that thing, of where he will compete.
It would be great to see him in Oregon, but I don't know how that's a Nike event, so it tends to be stuck with the Nike guys. But there's a lot of Diamond League events. London,
it might be China, because especially since Doha is might be not on the cards this year. Maybe China, and a couple of meets in London, maybe. We'll see.
Maybe you go to Lausanne or something like
that.
Yeah,
but they're not particularly rushing it.
A great time. Mm-hmm.
They're not particularly rushing it. I don't get the impression that they are this year. I think this is a year where they build on the success of last year by making him better physically, and then having him run fast. I mean, what we saw last year was a very deliberate attempt for him to run fast leading up into the World Championships. He did that. He won gold.
Right.
Now it's about making him better. And one thing I do know about Glenn Mills is that Glenn Mills is very deliberate.
Yeah.
For what he does.
Methodical. He doesn't make mistakes, right? Yeah. Well, Leighton, we should call it. Camille says it's always great hearing us. And tomorrow's the final day of the World Indoor Championships. There'll be some relays on top there. I think Jamaica is in one relay in the morning. They're in men's 4x4. They're not in women, right? Yeah. No. We'll get long jump final tomorrow. 60-meter hurdles also should be on track tomorrow as well.
Yeah, Malcolm Meg running.
Yeah, in the morning. So we'll get to see Megan and all of the other people get out there. 800-meter final too. It should be a fabulous championship. So far, it's been good. We appreciate you guys coming on both channels and supporting. Don't forget to like, subscribe. And I'm sure Leighton and I will try to be back tomorrow if possible, and if not, sometime in the week.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
man. Good night, guys.
All right. Bye-bye.